Shalom. Call Halayim La Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachak Wadash. Double honors unto our apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Much peace and blessings to all you sincere Akim out there that's pushing this 100% truth with all sincerity, faith, and with charity. This is your brother Osh from the Great Millstone Miami Camp, coming back with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. Lord, when this lesson is edifying to the elect, this lesson is going to be inspired, or is inspired by a dream that I woke up from this morning that really shook me up. Okay, and it gets very personal, and I didn't really want to do this lesson, but I believe that brothers need to hear this, and in particular, you brothers with sons, okay, especially young sons that are not really at that age of accountability yet, or they may be around that age, which is around 12 years old when they become men, right? So they're still moldable, so to speak. You know, if you got, I'm a young man, so yeah, I'm pretty sure you older brothers out there may have sons that are fully grown men, maybe as old as me, around my age or whatever. And once they're grown, they're really, who they are is set in stone. So they have to seek out their own salvation with fear and trembling. All right. But for you brothers out there with sons, with young sons, just know they are a target. They are a big target. Just in a carnal sense, being young Israelite men, and even more so in a spiritual sense, which I did a video about a month or two ago going into satanic rituals that are being, performed throughout the world, but mainly here in America. And these Satanists are very bold. They are very empowered because this is their kingdom. Okay. And you look into the teachings of Aleister Crowley and some of these people, they will tell you straight up that the highest sacrifice is a young male of high intelligence. They didn't say this part, but we can infer that male being an Israelite male. Okay? And it all makes sense because the chief sacrifice is who? Yahweh Shai, the firstborn of the Most High, an Israelite male, a pure Israelite male of high intelligence. Okay? So, all things are two and two, one against another. So if the Most High's, pure lamb, that male lamb, pure, which Passover is exactly a month from now. So that's another thing that is just coming to my mind with all this. We are really in some very serious times. They just had that superb owl ritual last weekend. And today is Valentine's Day. And that all ties together with this dream that I'm about to share. Okay. So basically, in the dream, it was a long dream, like a movie, very vivid, which I haven't had one of those in a long time. But it started out, the first half was folly, mostly all folly. But in the middle of the dream, I was with my wife and my family, and we were going to look at a place to rent, hopefully, to check it out to see if we could rent this place. And it was kind of like a open house type of thing. So we were looking around the house. It was a nice place. We were like, yeah, we can get this place. And the guy who was renting the place was like a friend of the family. So it was like a hookup type of thing. But like I said, it was an open house, so other people were coming to look at the house as well. So that's when it was a group of old Cubans, aka the tribe of Manasseh, right? Israelites, which we know, which we're gonna speak more about that, but we're gonna call them Cubans. I like calling them blockheads, cube heads, right? But there were a group of them, about 5 of them. 2 older Cubans, men, elderly. The 3 elderly Salakia. 2 older Cuban, which through the spirit, I'm just looking at, they look Latino, but through the spirit they were Cubans. Okay. 2 older so-called Cubans, right? And 3 older women. And they all had on red shirts. And the women had on black skirts and the men had on black pants. And once they walked into the house, I already knew what time it was. Once I saw the color coordination and the colors themselves, I already knew what time it was. These people were involved with witchcraft, a particular, which there's many different practices of witchcraft, which is all witchcraft, but every culture around the world has their own system of witchcraft. All the heathen have their different forms of sorcery, idolatry, right? So-called religions, right? And but of course it's all witchcraft. But down here, just speaking down here in Miami, you have the practice of Santeria / Lukumi. Okay, it's very big down here in Miami. Miami is, another name for Miami is Magic City, which Lord willing, I'm going to do a video. But it's just being born and raised here in this city. I've been to other places. This is one of the most evil places by far in the world, by far in America. Okay, entrenched with witchcraft, all different forms of witchcraft. Okay, with Santeria, aka Lukumi, being very, very popular. It's everywhere. Okay, and these are secret societies. Okay, so these people are not supposed to go around telling the uninitiated that they practice these things. So it's on the hush hush. If you know, you know. But if you are a spiritual person, and just me being a Levite, just hearing about this type of shit from my family and friends and all my life, you know the signs, you know the symbolism, you know what to look out for, you know, just by looking at certain people. Of course, when you're spiritual, of course you're in the truth, you're able to discern these things, pick up on these things very easily, who is involved and who's not. Okay, but so which we're gonna speak more about that. So after I saw them coming into the house and I knew what time they were on, I immediately felt the spirit, the tension, that spiritual tension. Okay, and this is where the part of my memory gets a little patchy, right? Which, mind you, I woke up, I went to sleep. I usually get about 6 hours of sleep, between 6 to 7 hours of sleep a night, and my body usually, you know, is set. I don't wake up with alarm. Okay, I usually get up. Sometimes, really, no matter what time I sleep, I'll get up by between 5 and 6 without an alarm. That's just because I do it every day. But this, I didn't wake up until the dream was over, completely over, and I immediately woke up, and it was way past the time I should have got up. So the Lord put the spirit on me to sleep, a deep sleep, so I could have this dream. And when I woke up, for the first second you don't really remember, and then a couple seconds, and then it just comes like a flood back to you. And then, you know, of course, as time goes on, you forget little things, details. So back to the dream, it started to get a little tense. You felt that clash, good is set against evil. And I immediately started thinking, what the fuck are they on? Why are they here? Because they were dressed in a ritualistic fashion. They, you know, people that, they were all color coordinated. A lot of these people that are involved in these practices, they don't really do that style of dress and just on a regular, unless they were about to perform some sort of ritual or intend on performing some sort of ritual. So I forget exactly what happened, but somehow I ended up outside, and there were two younger men, much younger men, that were with them, between the age of 18 and 24. And these guys were the muscle. Okay, the older ones, you could tell they were like, you know, the experienced, wise on the left hand side. I say that loosely, right? Because the fear of the Lord, fear of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, is the beginning of wisdom. Okay, but these younger men, I ended up outside with them. I think we started arguing inside the house. I started calling them out. They probably did something I can't exactly remember, but somehow I ended up outside. Basically being pushed away by the two younger guys that were the muscle. I believe they had knives, or some knives involved, but they started to gang up on me. The two younger guys, you know, they were. So let me just say they started to gang up on me and intimidate me. And like I said, they had knives. I didn't have a knife, so I'm backing up. But these two were dressed in white linen, and it may have little details on the edges or whatnot. But they had on the beads. Now, if you know about Santeria, you know about they wear beads. A lot of them. The ones that are fully initiated, they have to wear certain beads with certain colors for certain dedicated to certain spirits, which they call Orisha. All this shit goes back to Africa, really. Which I'm gonna show you, right? This shit go back to Ham and the heathen that Jake picked up on, and not even you can in Egypt all the way back, because it's all this shit really goes back to one source, which is Satan. But you know, just like languages change over time and people go to different places, like you used to play that game in school and you have all the children form a circle, and then you have one person start a whisper, and then the next person whisper it, and then once it gets all the way back, you say it out loud, and it's totally different from where it started. But that's how it is with these different practices, right? So they'll have different names for certain spirits, certain entities, but in this system, but another system on the other side of the world, they have the same deity, but they call it a different name, and they may have a different form when they draw it, right? But you read the characteristics are the same. It's really the same, these same spirits. And these are all left-hand spirits that work for Yahweh Basham Yahushai, right? They work for the spiritual demon Satan, but the spiritual demon Satan's boss is Yahushai, okay? And Yahweh is Yahushai's boss, right? But so ultimately we don't got nothing to worry about. But so I could see the beads around their neck, and they were red and white, okay? Now, just me being here in Miami, growing up, you see them with all different type of colors, right? For different things. So that stood out to me. The other one had another bead. It was beaded necklace. It was white and it had like some blue markings on it. But I'm like, yeah, I know what y'all on. Fuck y'all. You know, I'm not scared of y'all. Whoop-de-whoop. But one of them held up the necklace, you know, in his hand. It was red and white, and he said, "Do you know what this can do? This can make your seed gay." And when he said it, in my mind, I'm thinking, like, what the fuck is he talking about? I'm thinking he's talking about the seed within me, the seed of man within me, like in the future tense. That's what I'm thinking. Like, you know, you could try to put a spell on me so that, you know, my seed in the future comes out gay. That's what I thought in the dream. But you know, I had to flee because they were gonna kill me. Like, they had knives, they were ganging up on me. So in my mind, I'm like, I have to flee, but my children were still in the house. Now, mind you, I said the house was being rented by a friend of a family. So in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, like, okay, they'll be good. I just got to get out of here. I just got to flee real quick because they're going to try to kill me. But Lord willing, they're not going to touch my family. They're not going to do nothing to my family. Right? So I get in the car and I drive off. And I'm going to be honest, for some reason, I was doing some folly. Not at the wicked, but I was just in La La Land, aloof. And that's when I get a call from my wife, and she says, they took our son. Okay, they took our son. and my heart dropped. And I don't know. I know now why I said it, but when I first woke up, I couldn't put two and two together. I asked, did they take our daughter? She said no. And in the moment, I didn't know why I said it. I said, why didn't they take her? And she said, who cares why they didn't take her? You need to get here now. So I bust a U-turn real fast, and I put pedal to the metal to get back. And that's when I woke up. So when I woke up, of course I was shooken up. My head was literally spinning. You brothers that ever woke up, not necessarily from a dream, but you wake up and then you go back to sleep. You may wake up feeling energized, right? But for whatever reason, you go back to sleep, and then you wake up again. You feel that grogginess. You feel that very lethargic. That's because your body is not. Once you get up, you're supposed to stay up. You're not supposed to go back to sleep. You fucking up your biological clock and different systems in your body, right? Your body release certain chemicals to wake you up, and other chemicals to put you back to sleep, and they work on a clockwork system, right? A cycle, different cycles. So you mess yourself up when you do that. It's best when you wake up in the morning, and even if you wake up, they say if you wake up less than an hour and 30 minutes before you're supposed to get up, you're not supposed to go back to sleep. The best thing to do is just stay up, because if you do, once you get back up, you're gonna feel like shit. So, but that was my first time waking up, and I felt that way. I felt as if I did that, and I did it. I had just woken up. My head was spinning. I was still feeling groggy. So that's how I know the Lord really put a spirit on me to sleep very deep, to have this dream. But when I woke up, this is where it gets funny. This is where it gets spooky, right? When I woke up, the first person that came to my mind was my boss at work. Now, brothers down here in Miami, they know it's like I said, this is where it gets personal. They know our situation, which is not just me. It's another brother in the camp. We both work at the same place under the same dude. And he is a sorcerer. He's involved in this practice. We know for a fact he's involved with this practice. Okay. He from day one, we see him with the bracelet. Like, people that are involved with these practices, they wear bracelets, they wear necklaces, different colors or whatnot. But when you see it, if you automatically know what they're on. But this guy is so bold and so proud about it that he actually told, it was another brother that worked there, but he dipped out, so call Allah Yabashmasha, he dipped out. But he found something better. And that's another thing too. We're in hell, man. We're in hell. We're subject to payments. We have to play ball, but we have to use wisdom. We are slaves here in the wicked kingdom. This is how Joseph felt. This is how the three holy children felt. This is how Daniel felt, being subservient to straight up demons. But you gotta walk in wisdom. Okay, you can't say, yeah, I know you're a witch. The Lord gonna kill you. No, you have to play dumb. You have to watch your back, right? You have to keep a spiritual guard up at all times. But this guy is so bold, he actually told the brother straight up that he's a high priest. Whoop-de-whoop. Right? But that's another thing, too. You brothers out here on these jobs and shit, man. You have to move very wise with these people. Okay? Don't be trying to have a damn show what you know contest, because you want to talk about this and that and you showing your hand. You want to talk about deep shit. You want to talk about conspiracies and shit. You showing your hand. I move like a nigga out in the world, a dumb nigga that don't know shit. I'm just a regular nigga. Okay? But if you really are spiritual and the Lord really is dealing with you, it's a light that you carry. It's an aura that you carry that you can't hide. So you have to be aware of that at all time. You don't have, if the Lord is really dealing with you, you don't gotta show. People that's spiritual, they gonna know. They gonna see. Right? So he also told me he was a high priest, but we were just having a regular conversation. He told me that. I don't know. He told me some other shit, but that's how it is sometimes when the Lord will make people tell you shit that they wouldn't really tell you, you know? But this guy, since the first day he came, because he transferred, because our boss that was a cool Ephraimite guy, he had problems with the property and he had to dip, you know? And he was a cool dude. And he helped us out at the job. He looked out for us, you know. But he got transferred, and this guy came and replaced him. Another Ephraimite. His dad is an Ephraimite, but his mom is Manasseh. So he considers himself Cuban, right? If you ask him what he is, he'll say Cuban. But he told me that his dad was Puerto Rican, so I'm like, no, you an Ephraimite, right? But from day one, this man came. It was like I had a target on me. That's how he was. He came in totally against me, and was trying to get me in trouble in all different types of ways. But the Spirit of the Lord was with me, and I stepped to him. I sat him down and I had a good talk with him. I told him, I don't know what you on, basically, but I'm not the guy. Like, I don't know what you got against me, but basically you need to chill. And he said, okay, I have respect for you now. Whatever. The nigga's a straight up serpent, but he's doing a whole lot of snake shit. But the Lord has been, which me and the brother that's still there now, we understand that everything happens for a reason, and the Lord is giving us experience. He's giving us, that's what trial and tribulation is for, so you can learn how to deal in future situations, how to deal with certain people. Okay, so this man is a literal warlock. Okay. But he actually after he did some snake shit, some real snake shit to the brother that left. So he left, and then after the brother left, so after I had a talk with him, he kind of fell back off me. He kind of turned his gaze from me. But and then he switched his gaze to the other brother. But that, the brother, he found something better anyway, so the Lord set him free. But for some reason, after the brother left, he never had necklace beads. He just had the bracelet. He actually told the brother that he was recently initiated. And if you spiritual, you know what I know. You can see when someone is been involved with those certain practices for a long time versus a short time. Because the longer people are involved with these certain practices, the more demons they get on them, the more the light goes away from their eyes. They look more and more dead. They look more and more used up, because that's what those spirits actually do to people. Okay? Give me a second. I had to roll up my windows. Niggas pulled up next to me, but so I already could tell that he was newly initiated, because he still looked green. Like he's very proud. He's just really an idiot. Just like he's not he thinks he's much more intelligent and wise than he really is. He thinks he's on a high level, but that's pride. That's these people that get involved with these practices. They get a lot of pride on them, because they think that it's like a brother, or not necessarily a brother, but a guy that gets involved with the truth, and for vainglory, just so that they can be the smartest nigga in the barbershop or whatever. That pride comes, as the scripture say, knowledge puffeth up, but charity edifieth. And I myself, other brothers, you deal with that. You first come in truth, and it has a tendency to be that pride, which goes back to something called a Dunning-Kruger effect. The less you know about a certain subject, the more proud you are. But the more you actually learn, you start to humble down, because the more you learn, the more you see that you didn't really know shit. Okay, but so based off the way the nigga move, I already know he wasn't really involved in that shit for that long. This is still new to him, right? But after he did the snake shit to the brother and the brother left, I believe the very next day, or maybe it was on a Friday when the brother left, but the very next day or two, I saw him with a necklace now. He never had a necklace, he just had a bracelet. Now he have the necklace, and it was red and black, which I already know. If you ever watched the movie City of God, there was a scene in the movie, a Brazilian gangster movie, but it was a scene where the dude went to the the voodoo man, and the voodoo man gave him a necklace, beads, and it was black and red. And he told him, if you wear this, it's going to protect you. You're not going to get killed. You're not going to get smoked. So when I seen him with those colors, I instantly knew, okay, so you did some snake shit to the brother, and you kind of feel guilty. You may think repercussion is coming, right? So that was very interesting. So we already know, moving with wisdom, that this guy he's an actual warlock. So he put spells on the other workers. He got all the other workers under a spell, literally. But we know, of course, we're not going to show our hand. He don't know what we are on. But I'm pretty sure he's thinking, why the fuck? If he's gonna if he's a warlock, he's putting spells on the workers. He's trying to do it to us too. But I'm, for sure he's thinking, why isn't this shit working on them? So there's a certain level of curiosity, and he always try to check my temperature. He's always constantly checking my temperature, saying little dumb shit, little random shit, but he thinks he's much smarter than what he really is, and he thinks that we are just some dumb niggas. And I love it. That's a good position to be in. I love being underestimated. Okay? And he doesn't peep or doesn't think that I know what he's doing. I know exactly what you're doing. I know exactly what you're on. All right? I don't know all about this shit because I'm not into it like that, but I know enough to know what I need to know. As the scriptures say, we are not ignorant of Satan's devices. Okay? But long story short, yesterday, I see this guy, he came and said something to me, and I could see another necklace under his neck, and it's red and white. Okay? It's red and white. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. And he had a new chain, a golden chain with a pendant of the moon and the sun. Y'all don't know if you've seen that symbolism, where it's like one celestial body, if you will, but half is the moon and half is the sun. And never wore that before. I'm like, okay, that's interesting, right? But he tries to play humble at times. Like he's just a straight up serpent. But we see totally through every little thing he does. But he don't think we see it, which is good. So he came up to me and tried to say some shit to me, whoop-de-whoop. But I saw the necklaces, right? So that stood out to me. So long story short, when I woke up from that dream this morning, seeing these people these guys with the red and white necklaces, I instantly thought about him. Instantly. He was the first person that came up to my mind. So I believe even in the dream, I may have thought about him as if he sent these people. Okay? And again, he never wore that necklace before. And when I woke up from the dream, he's the first person that I thought about. And I looked to my phone, and I opened my phone, and shit, I see a picture of my son, because this past weekend, I went to Target. Everybody familiar with the store chain, big box store, Target, right? And I took a picture. It's funny because I took a picture of my daughter and my son. They wanted to take a picture outside, right? My daughter first said, "Hey, take my picture." I took her picture. And my son said, "Hey, take my picture." I took his picture in front of the store, right? You can see the Target sign behind them, right? And then my son says, "Can you set it as your wallpaper?" I said, "Okay, I'll set it as my wallpaper." So this morning when I went to the phone to open up the phone, I see the picture of him in front of the store, Target, with a red and white bullseye. And that's when it hit me. Okay? That's when it hit me. And then it also hit me that today is Valentine's Day. Okay, which if you know anything about the origins of Valentine's Day, you will know that it originates from an ancient Roman festival, 3-day festival known as Lupercalia. Okay? Let's read a little bit about Lupercalia. All these holidays of America, we're living in the Roman Empire revive. very much like today. You had wicked ass Jakes that were doing sorcery, wicked ass Edomites doing sorcery. You had the Israelites, you had the different Colosseums, the bread and circuses. We are in Rome right now, all over again. Just had the superb owl ritual at Caesar's palace, Caesar's stadium. Nero being in attendance. I had the big Kendrick Lamar ritual. That was all fucking satanic. Right? And today you have Valentine's Day, which goes back to a 3-day festival from February 13th to the 15th. Right? Let's read a little bit. It says, Lupercalia was a Roman festival that involved animal sacrifice, a feast, and whipping women with thongs. Alright? The festival was celebrated on February 15th to promote fertility and good health. Ritual steps. It says sacrifice. A dog and one or more male goats were sacrificed by the Luperci priest in the Lupercal cave. Anoint. The 2 Luperci priests had their foreheads anointed with the blood from the sacrificial knife. Okay, whoop-de-whoop. They would cut thongs, right? They would feast, cut thongs. Says strips of hide called februa were cut from the sacrificed animals. So they would take the bloody skin from the animals and go around slapping women with it, basically anointing them with the blood. And that's the left hand version of when Moses dipped the hyssop in the blood and sprinkled it on the children of Israel. You see, Satan just has the left hand form of doing everything the Most High does. All right? So this was thought to increase fertility. All right, so but let's go back to the animal sacrifice. It says a dog and one or more male goats. And then you have a homo right next to me cursing out a dog. You cannot make this shit up. Okay, but a dog and one or more male goats were sacrificed by the Luperci priests in the Lupercal cave. Okay? But the key word is male goat. Alright? A male goat. That makes you think of what? The Passover lamb, right? The unspotted lamb. Which on the Passover scriptures clearly say you could have a lamb or a goat. But it has to be a male of the first year and unblemished, which is pure, which that's a foreshadowing of Yahweh Shai. Right? The pure Israelite, son of the Most High, without sin, high intelligence. Right? So that's when it hit me. That's why they did not take my daughter. They did not want my daughter. Okay, they want your seed. They want your legacy. Satan wants your legacy. He wants your firstborn. He wants your eldest son. Okay? They are the target. So at this point, I'm putting all this together and my head is spinning. I'm feeling weak. This shit is, But again, like you have, let's read a little bit about this practice, right? All right. This is a quick Google on Lukumi. It says Lukumi refers to a language, a religion, and an ethnic group. Lukumi language, a liturgical language used in Cuba, the Dominican Republic, and Puerto Rico. A collection of phrases and words derived from the Yoruba language, which the Yoruba, that's Judah. Judah Benjamin Levi. In West Africa, which they say is the birthplace of voodoo. Right? Specifically Benin, country of Benin. But this is where the slaves came from. And Southern Kingdom was heavy into this shit. And that's why we went into slavery in the first place. Okay? But Judah Benjamin and Levi took these practices with them over to the New World. And you already had Northern Tribe doing all type of wickedness. So they just mixed it all together. Okay? But this shit goes back to ancient Rome. Even before then, it goes back to Babal. Okay? This is nothing new. We can read about this in the scriptures about our people, sacrificing to Baal, sacrificing, weeping for Tammuz, making cakes to the Queen of Heaven. This is old shit our people been on. Wickedness. High level wickedness. Right? And that's why the Lord sent Christopher Columbus to fuck them niggas up. Alright? But it says a collection of phrases and words derived from the Yoruba language used for ritual purposes and religious practices. Not a living language, but is in present in songs, prayers. Lukumi people, an Afro-Cuban ethnic group with Yoruba ancestry. Members of a secret society of African origin. Another name for the Santeria of faith. A religion that has grown and expanded since the Cuban Revolution. Okay. Offering to the Orishas, which that's their deities, right? You have the Church of Lukumi Babalu Ai. It says a church in Hialeah, Florida, which that's Miami. Okay. You go out there in Hialeah, that's a section of Miami where it's straight Cubans, tribe of Manasseh. You go in that area, nobody speaks English. Motherfuckers been there for 30, 40 years, they don't speak a lick of English. Right? And these the same niggas talking about we will vote for Donald Trump. Not vote for Donald Trump, but vote. We will vote for Donald Trump. And that's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful that the Trump administration, right, Secretary of State Marco Rubio made a statement about how they're going to start deporting Cubans that's legal citizens because they've been traveling back and forth from the U.S. to Cuba, but their whole reason for gaining their citizenship in the first place was so-called due to fleeing political asylum, meaning it was unsafe for them to be in their country due to the government that was going on. So they fled through the persecution and they were afraid for their lives. That's why you had the whole wet foot, dry foot, these Cubans. So when they stepped one, which they did away with it in 2017, but up until then, any Cuban set one foot on American soil, he's good. No questions asked because he's fleeing political asylum. He's seeking political asylum. So that itself helped Miami. Miami is dominated by Cubans. It's dominated by Manasseh. Hosts everywhere. Top, bottom. Okay? So they come over here very, very proud. Very proud. And they're very proud against Judah. Very proud. I'm going to just be honest. I haven't really experienced much so-called discrimination directly by so-called white people here in Miami. The real racism, the real discrimination I get is from Cubans. Cubans and Dominicans. I'ma just keep it G. Alright? And craziest thing about it, which is funny because the last boss that was in the position that this demon is in now, he said himself, because there's other people at the job involved with this shit, and he used to talk about them. He said, I know they on that shit. I know they on that Santeria shit. And you know how stupid they are? They'll worship a black god and turn around and be racist to black people. Because these different deities, these Orisha they worship, you look at the images and they're black, so-called black. These shit come from Africa. They'll have whole feasts and rituals dedicated to these so-called black gods, then go out the door and talk shit to black people. Showing you how these people are just bugged the fuck out, right? But anyways, right? It says, involved in a Supreme Court case with the city of Hialeah over animal sacrifice. Animal sacrifice is big down here. But like I said, you go into Hialeah, you're going to see on every corner, you're going to see a place called a Botanica, which is basically a witchcraft shop. They're everywhere, all through Hialeah, all through Little Haiti. Okay, Miami is entrenched with this shit. It's everywhere. Okay, but I just wanted to point out that animal sacrifice. So this is the same shit that was going on in Rome with Lupercalia. So you think, just because you think, Santeria, you think that's some African shit or that's some island shit. You don't think there's no connection with that with Rome. But yes, it does. It's totally connected with Rome. You think Rome, that's just some people think you think Rome, you think just some crackers. No, Jake was in Rome doing these same practices, the same shit. But like I said, he didn't have on the beads Wednesday, but he had them on yesterday, which was the 13th, which is the beginning of the 3-day feast of Lupercalia. So it all makes sense. It all makes sense. And I did a video last year, sometime early last year or 23. I did a video because it came out that Target, the store Target, hired an actual Satanist, real deal Satanist, to design the children's clothes, the children's pride clothes. Clothes dedicated for Pride Month for children. And it was an actual Satanist, real deal open Satanist. You can look up this person, and this person is a so-called trans. You go on their Instagram and they talk about Baphomet. They talk about the hormone blockers, and they straight up say the hormone blockers is potions. You see? So it makes perfect sense. They want, and then you had years back with the gay pride, the gay men, I think it was San Francisco Gay Men's Choir. They did a chant. They did a song video. We're coming for your children, and all this shit is connected. All that shit is connected. I went to some place not too long ago, and there was a guy behind a young Northern Tribe guy, and he had the same bracelet that my so-called boss wears, same colors, and he was a young Manasseh guy, or could have been an Ephraimite. You could tell he was sweet as hell, but he had the same colors, because that homo shit is a big part of that shit too. So I say all that, and it gets more personal than that. My dad was in the dream. And brothers that know me, you know my story. Okay, but I'll say his legacy was destroyed. I'm not his firstborn. His firstborn son is alive and well, but his legacy is destroyed. Let's put it like that. If he didn't have me, he wouldn't have no grandchildren. But the Lord allowed him to see his generation continue before the Lord took him out. And he's in his right mind now. Okay? But that's pretty much the dream. I know it was long. I know I'm talking slow because I'm still shaken up by all this. But I'm bringing this out. But I already called the brother that work at the job, and I told him all this. I told him to keep an eye on that devil, because there's some shit, it's weird shit going on right now. Okay? So let's get to the scriptures. With all that being said, let's get to the scriptures, man. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 7 and verse 23. Hast thou children? Instruct them, and bow down their neck from their youth. Okay? Because and of course, I'm talking about the sons. Of course, your daughter is a target as well, and for other reasons. But she's not the main target. The serpent came to Eve to get Adam. Adam was the target. Eve was just a means to an end. Okay? She was just a pawn to get to the king, which was Adam. Alright? So I'm saying all this to you brothers with sons. We have to be aware of what's going on. We can't neglect. We can't be ignorant of Satan's devices, okay? Scriptures say that your adversary, be sober, be vigilant, for your adversary, the devil, goeth about as a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. So you have certain people that are given over to Satan. Okay? That's their condemnation. They were predestined to be offered to Satan. Okay? They have been rejected by Yahweh Basham Yahushai and appointed to the left hand. That's why you have certain people, a lot of these Santeria families, witchcraft families. That's why certain people are born into these families. They don't have no choice. You're born into it. It's in your blood. Your parents put you in it, and you stay in it. You know what I'm saying? You weren't even given a choice. That's because the Lord already made the choice for you and said, this is what I made you for. Okay? And you have brothers that were born into some of these families. Just put it like that. Okay? But the Lord redeemed them out of that shit. Okay? The Lord said, no, you are mine. That one, he's for me. Okay? The rest, say you can have his whole family. But that one son right there, I want him. He's mine. You can't have him. You can't have that one. And say him like, okay, cool. Deal. Okay? But we have to understand what, especially with the persecution that's coming, with the demonization that's coming. You brothers out there that got families, wives and children. And I know I've been doing a lot of videos like that recently because this shit is real, man. This shit is real. We are to be leaders. We got to stand up and protect what the Lord has given us. The Lord is raising up defenders and protectors of the sheep in these last days, spiritual power will be given. It's already here. I'm just gonna start saying that. All right, I'm just gonna start saying I already have spiritual power, because I do. You better do too. So tap in. Okay. That the Lord has given. It's not of ourselves. We ain't doing no crazy ritual and blood sacrifice to get no power. The Lord has freely given us the power. All we gotta do is tap in by spiritual practices on the right hand side, studying, praying, first and foremost praying. And I woke up after that, I thought about what I thought. I went straight to prayer mode. Okay, I went in my son room, I woke him up, I grabbed him by the hand. Okay, walked to the kitchen, I grabbed the olive oil, we walked straight outside, and I took him out in the backyard and I anointed him. I prayed over him. Okay? And he cut me and said, "You haven't done this in a long time." I said, "Yeah." And he said, he's like, why are you just doing me? I said, "'Cause you're special." He said, "Oh, well, I kind of feel sorry for my sisters." I said, "No, don't feel sorry for them." I said, if you're going to feel sorry for anybody, feel sorry for yourself. But don't feel sorry for yourself. He said, "What do you mean?" I told him, "You and your sisters can do the same thing. Something wrong, something bad. But I'm going to beat you first, and I'm going to beat you worse. Why? 'Cause you're my eldest son, and you should know better." And that's when it hit him, like, yeah, you're right. So in the same way a father disciplines son, that we have the Heavenly Father. We are his, we Lord willing, we are part of the elect. We are all part of the church of the firstborn. Okay, Yahushua is the chief firstborn, but the 144,000 are the first fruits. So they are firstborns as well in the spirit. Okay? So we can't neglect, as much as we have to put up our spiritual guard and fight Satan, we have to Satan wants what we got just as much as he wants us. Okay? And I felt like shit in the dream, man. I felt like shit because I allowed that to happen. I let my guard down. But even in the dream, I was still maintaining faith. Even in the dream, as I'm driving back, my heart is sinking, but I'm like, I'm gonna get him back. I'm gonna do whatever it takes. I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna get him back. Okay. And there are situations like that in the scriptures. We're gonna read about King David. Had a situation where his wife and the men that were with him, wives and children, got taken by the devil, Amalek, by the small hatters. And through the spirit of power, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, King David was able to rescue them. So it's going to be situations like that. We just have to maintain faith and maintain frame and not fold. But in the meanwhile, we have to be preparing their minds, preparing their spirits for shit like this. Okay, we can't let them be naive and thinking that they could just go out into the world and everybody's their friend, everybody loves them. You gotta be real with them. You got enemies, man. These demons out here. Be circumspect out here. Make them pray. Tell them to pray. Anoint them. Okay? It says, bow down their neck from their youth. Instruct them. So you gotta force them. Sometimes, of course, your son get old enough,
Older to the point where you can't really force him like that. No, that not. Hey, he's just on his own now. Well, that's between him and Yahweh Bashmal Shai. But if they're young, they're still under your authority. They're still moldable. It's on you to put this on them. You gotta put them. You gotta put it on them. Yes, the scriptures say, "I will cover thy children, that they should not see hell." Right? And we believe that. But we gotta kind of force that on them. You can't just let them be. Just let them watch cartoons all day and be engulfed with folly. You don't read to them. You don't read the scriptures with them. You don't pray with them. You don't anoint them. Okay? This shit is real. Years ago, I was at Walmart with my son. We was very young. And I was approached by a Satanist. Straight up Satanist. As crazy as this may sound, you could clearly, if you know what to look for, you know this dude was a Satanist. He was looking at my son with a demonic smile. I was going into the store. In the midst of our shopping, he walked past me. I felt an eerie vibe. I reached into my phone, and it was an offer for a Luciferian contract. Okay? This shit is fucking real. Of course, I immediately closed it. Then reopened the phone, it was gone like it was never there. It said Luciferian contract in all caps. I'm not making this shit up. So what would they have wanted from me? What would have been my payment to join? Okay? But anyway, it's another precept I want to read, right? It's Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 4. It says, "Hear, O Israel, Yahweh our power is one, Yahweh. And thou shalt love," that's the Shema. We sing that, all right? Shema, Yasharallah, Yahweh, Allah Yanoah, Yahweh, Achad. Right? And I make my children sing that. Right? This is 5. And hey, they sometimes before bed I tell, hey, it's time to pray. I don't feel like, I don't care, it's time to pray. Okay? Verse 5. "And thou shalt love Yahweh thy power with all thine heart and with all thy soul and with all thy might. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart," so in your mind, "and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up." Okay, in the NLT it says what? "Repeat them again and again to your children." Talk about them when you are at home, and when you are on the road, and when you are going to bed, and when you are getting up. So you're supposed to be constantly speaking to them about the scriptures, constantly speaking to them about the prophecies, right? And it's spiritual because my son, he just turned 7, which Esau with his sciences tell you that from the time they're born up until till they're 7, their brain is in a forget what state, but I believe a theta waves, which is the same frequency of someone who is under hypnosis, meaning easily programmable. So as the scriptures say, train up a child when he is young, when he is old he will not depart from it. So from 0 to 7, you're supposed to be pushing that on them as much as you can, pushing the spirit on them as much as you can, while the cement is still wet. And this is a commandment. You know what I'm saying? I ain't just saying this, oh, you know, somebody may think it may not be that important, or I'm doing the work. This is commandment. The Lord said you gotta do it. And you look out in the world, you see what the fuck is going on, you see, the Lord will shake your ass up and show you why it's a commandment. Because let's say they do get abducted. Let's say you do, you know, somehow get separated from them in the times coming. Could very well happen. They gonna have to call on Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. I tell my children all the time, if somehow, some way we get separated and I'm not around, your mom not around, better call on Yahushai. Better call on Yahweh Yahushai. Right? You want to instill faith in them right now. Especially they're not at the age of accountability. That means you are responsible for them. So if something happened to them, that's on you. The Lord will judge you. Because you're not doing what you're supposed to do as a father. If Satan can't get you, but he could get your son, he like, shit, bet. Perfect. That'll do. Okay? So let's get the account with David. Which, you know, with the job situation, I already got a transfer in, okay? I already put my transfer in. I got a couple more weeks, which I'm supposed to be at work right now. I woke up from that dream. I said, fuck that, I'm not going. I prayed to the Lord, like, what should I do? You know, and it's so spiritual too, because when I woke up from the dream, I'm already expecting, because it's usually like this. When I have dreams like that, my wife will have a similar dream. So I'm already expecting her to tell me about the dream she had. So I woke up first. When she woke up, I'm like, you had it? I'm telling her about the dream. First I was going to ask her if she had a dream, but I told her my dream first. She said, that's funny, because I had a dream that I went over to my grandmother's house that I haven't been to in a long time. And when I went over there, two of my male cousins who have wives and children turned into flaming moles. And she was just thinking like, damn, how could you do this to your family? Y'all got families. And she said it wasn't no like acting a little effeminate. She said no, lip gloss and everything. And I know these two cousins of hers. I met them. I know them. These are masculine dudes. But that just show you, you know, like I said in the video that I did with the damn Voodoo Donuts, the Satanists behind Voodoo Donuts, right? It's better. To them, it's better if they can turn your son gay than killing him. That's the ultimate victory for them. Like Dwayne Wade, that's a whole ritual, whole walking ritual. Funny is in Miami, we looked at Dwayne Wade. Us people down here in Miami, man, we niggas idolized Dwayne Wade. That he was masculine, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody wanted to be like Dwayne Wade. You know, he brought so-called that energy to Miami. D-Wade couldn't do nothing wrong, man. You growing up, you playing basketball on the court. I'm D-Wade. You know what I'm saying? Niggas got on his shoes and shit. Niggas got on his jersey. But up until that shit, man. And it's spiritual, his son name was Zion. And my son name is Tazion. What a coinkydink, right? But we know Zion is what? That's Israel. That was a whole ritual from when he was born. That was already set in motion. Okay? That was part of Dwayne Wade's offering to get in the club that he's in now. Okay? But yeah, that's how they do. That's a modern buck breaking. You take a biggest, strongest, masculine Israelite and you turn him into a Mo in the eyes of everybody, and that breaks the spirit of all the other men and women and children. Went from Zion to Zayah. And the fact that that can happen with no repercussions show you we are in Satan's kingdom. This is 1 Samuel chapter 30 and verse 1. And it came to pass when David and his men were come to Ziklag on the third day, that the Amalekites had invaded the south and Ziklag, and smitten Ziklag and burned it with fire, and had taken the women captives that were therein. They slew not any, either great or small, but carried them away and went on their way. So David and his men came to the city, and behold, it was burned with fire, and their wives and their sons and their daughters were taken captives. And these are devils, real devils. Amalek, and it's funny because where we work is surrounded, it's in the Amalekite community, and they doing all type of witchcraft with their fucking Kabbalah and whatnot. And all the niggas that work there are in a sunken place. And the longer they've been working there, the deeper in the sunken place that they are in. So on surrounded, we dealing with Amalekites doing Kabbalah, their practice, and then inside we dealing with our own people, fucking so-called, right? But really they're not. Fuck these niggas, these fucking blockheads, these fucking cube heads. I can't wait till you niggas start getting deported. Okay? We dealing with that form of sorcery and witchcraft within. But like I said, I got, Lord willing, I got 2 more weeks. If this nigga don't try nothing funny, I could get a transfer. But and that's why you brothers out there that have the means to make something for yourself, do it. Fuck these jobs. We have to do them. You got family, you got to do what you got to do. But the goal is to make something for yourself. I'm talking to myself first, right? So you minimize having to deal with this type of shit. But in the meanwhile, it's a learning experience. Life is chess, not checkers. Walk with wisdom toward them that are without. Because of shit like this. Okay? So, again, when I woke up from the dream, that nigga was the first nigga I thought of, and my spirit told me he sent them. And today being Valentine's Day, what's the colors of Valentine's Day? Red and white. It's all about sacrifice. But they tell the children, oh, it's about love. Here, I love you. Here's some candy. You don't got nothing to do with that. Right? But that's the form of love. In this world, it's all about being a Mo. Really. Okay? Then David and the people that were with him lifted up their voice and wept until they had no more power to weep. And that's how I felt in that dream, man. I felt defeated. But still in the back of my mind, I had that faith. No, we're going to get them back. We're going to get them back. I'm going to get them back. That's how we have to have a mindset, but we have to cultivate that mindset now. When things happen, certain shit happen, you just want to cry, you want to let go, but you can't let go. As soon as you let go, it's a wrap. You gotta cultivate a mindset of, nah, fuck that. No, I'm a no doubt. No, you can't let doubt creep in. Okay? And David's 2 wives were taken captives, Ahinoam the Jezreelitess and Abigail, the wife of Nabal the Carmelite, which the Lord dropped that wicked ass nigga Nabal, and gave Abigail to David. He didn't commit adultery. Okay? Not in that case. Right? Verse 6. And David was greatly distressed, for the people spake of stoning him, because the soul of all the people was grieved, every man for his sons and for his daughters. So they were gonna kill him. They was plotting on killing David, because that's a penalty of leadership. Which, Lord, when I'm gonna come back and do another video about the penalty of leadership. All right. That's the type of shit you're gonna have to deal with if you're a leader. Okay? Being looked at as a fuck up, being looked at as you gonna take the blame. That's what leaders are set up for, to take the blame. It ain't about fun and games. It ain't about just telling niggas what to do. Okay? Heavy is the head of him that wears the crown. But David encouraged himself in Yahweh his power. You see that? So, of course, you can read the rest of the story. He got him back. Through the spirit power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, he got him back. Okay? So, there's gonna be situations like this in the come. It's gonna happen. Expect the worst, but pray for the best. Not let me say, not expect the worst, Salakia, but prepare for the worst is what I always say. I didn't mean that. Prepare for the worst. Expect the best. Hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. Your brothers, don't be naive, okay? Don't put the Lord, because that's putting the Lord in the box thinking, oh, that'll never happen to me. The Lord won't let that happen. You don't fucking know that. You can pray for the best. You can expect the best, but prepare for shit to go left. Okay? Like they say, better is a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. Okay? So that's pretty much it. That's really all I wanted to say. With that, I hope it was edifying. I know it was long. With that, I'm going to say, call Allah, Yahweh Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai Ba'asham, Rahakadash. Until the next one, Shalom.